Hello, dear viewers, dear subscribers. I would like to talk to you for a few minutes about the other channel and maybe about one or two things concerning this channel afterwards. But first, I would like to do something a little bit uncommon for my channel and ask you to remember, if you can, about notifications. Because, well, the situation is such that a lot of YouTubers and the proper, big, smart, money-earning YouTubers are complaining quite substantially, as you may have noticed, about YouTube changing its recommendations algorithm yet again. I think it happens for the third time since I started, and I really didn't start that long ago, really. It's what, 15 months, something like that. So that's a little bit of an annoyance, let's say, and this has to change so often. And I don't know, I don't check my stats very often. Well, I check out the views on the videos, and that's basically it. So I'm not sure if it does affect my channel, but my guess is if it does affect channels like Tim Pool or Jordan Peterson, for that matter, or the Quarterning, or Gopher. I don't know if Gopher is affected this time, but he was a few months ago, I believe. I think he was. So if it does affect these guys, and it will certainly come and bite me at some point. So if you like the builds, maybe a few other things that this channel has to offer, and if you are reasonably satisfied, let's say, and would like to know what happens here, then please remember about the notifications. And it doesn't mean that you will know what happens here, by the way. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. Oh my god. Anyway, anywho, that's it for the most annoying and most troublesome statements. And now for the second channel ideas. I think maybe about history. I'm not a historian, but I am interested in history, and there's a few things in history that I know something about, perhaps above average, let's say. And one of these subjects is early Middle Ages. So the question that kind of returns to my mind quite often is how to say it. When you have a debate, or you listen to a debate, or you encounter some weird intellectuals for some reason talking about what is Western civilization and what is Western identity, they would probably stumble on the question of what is the proper historic source and proper grounding of the West, and is it the Roman culture, let's say, or the Judeo-Christian tradition. And my thinking is, after reading some medieval historians, that maybe the Middle Ages are misunderstood in that many people think that it is a time of kind of barbaric dismantling of Roman civilization, and equally barbaric triumph, let's say, of religious fervor. And I read a few very old books recently about the late Rome. It doesn't really look that simple to me, and maybe it would be an interesting point of view to say that actually what Middle Ages at least tried to do was to reach a compromise between ancient Roman tradition and Judeo-Christian one. Yes, so that's, I know it's a mouthful, and I kind of went on a tangent completely. It was a lot of words, I'm sorry. I really would like to be able to express it much more, tightly and simply. But basically, are the Middle Ages about a time of complete regression and triumph of religious thinking? Another idea for the new channel is something much less demanding and less philosophical and more informative, so maybe it's actually better for starters for now. And it's just a kind of a series of bios, let's say, of short vids about famous Romans, because everybody knows something about Julius Caesar and maybe a few more, but there's so many actually influential and kind of historically important persons in that Roman history that I know something about, although I would like to stress I'm not an expert, but I know something about, and that kind of are completely under the radar of our common knowledge. There's Tiberius Gracchus, for example. There's of course Belisarius, who is a very interesting Roman, who isn't very well known. And I must say there's plenty of others. Caracalla, the Emperor Caracalla from the 3rd century. He kind of made an important decision that nobody kind of knows about, and so on and so forth. So maybe that would be kind of interesting, and it certainly would be something that I would be a little bit excited to know. I would only have to think how to make it kind of more interesting than just a Wikipedia page in a video form. Maybe I'm not sure how to approach this yet, so therefore I am putting this forward, and talking to you about it. Maybe some of you can help me with that a tiny bit. On a more cheerful and playful note, there are things that I know for sure I will do in the foreseeable future and kind of near future. I'm already starting making of the Vokri guide. I'm not 100% sure how detailed it will come to be, but maybe I will be able to make it so that I will go through every skill and maybe just point out the most interesting perks, because it's unlikely I will go through every single perk. And then at the end of that, I will probably throw in a very brief build ideas that are possible in Valkyrie and weren't in vanilla. Of course, many of you, and probably rightfully so, will point out, I know this already, that all the things that are possible in Valkyrie but weren't in vanilla are also possible in Ordinator. And then there is an idea that was kind of brought up to me when we were watching the Artificer build a few months ago. I believe it was in March, maybe in February. And that was an idea to make a mini series of builds completely Dwemer inspired, and that's a cool idea that I think I have a few well-developed ideas for that. They will be shorter than my usual builds, much like the Andromeda builds were kind of shorter. There was a little bit less details, so a few things will be probably left unexplained. You will have to kind of fill in the gaps, but it's very it's easier for me, and most of the times I would like to point out the most important perks at least, but for example not give you perk by perk, skill by skill overview, just point out the most important skills and talk about most important perks. And this is the future of the builds for next few weeks, because as I said previously in the previous update, I will probably be focusing on some other things. Valkyrie guide is one, but also I will be focusing on the other channels, so it's kind of inevitable that the builds will be a little bit shorter. It really, 5 minutes less in the video time gives me, like, I don't know, an hour less in editing, maybe, or maybe I'm exaggerating, but it does make a difference. There is less commentary recording, there is less editing, there is less not producing a rendering time, there's less uploading time, so, it sums up to a decent gain in time that I can invest in some other tasks. Okay, that's it. I was talking for how long? Let me see. Oh, Jesus Christ. We will see each other again. Stay subscribed and all that. Remember about the notification. Bye. Bye.